Hello, today's review will be really positive because I've got for today's review really good in-ear monitors. You probably know about Audiosense and their T800 that gathered so many attention because they offered really good sound quality and really unusual well-tuned sound well, maybe not affordable, for reasonable price. So basically their price was $300 and for that price you will get 8 balanced armatures per ear, really resolving detailed earphones with fun V-shaped signature. So basically really good offer, and it's still a really decent offer, so I will definitely add the links to the description. So if you didn't see my review or any other review, just check it out, it's a great option. And now Audiosense released their first hybrid model. They gave it Index AQ3. So basically it's 10mm dynamic driver with titanium coated diaphragm and 2 nose balanced armatures. So basically a pretty solid setup, and price once again is pretty reasonable. It's $170 on the AliExpress, link will be in the description. Or you can get it with upgraded cable for $180. I didn't do their cables comparisons, but actually I think $10 for better cable, it's a reasonable price. And now let's have a closer look. Package is minimalistic, but it's done really nicely. It's made of some kind of soft touch paper outer wrap, it's gathering dust and fingerprints, but it looks really attractive. Here you will see the schema of the in-ear monitors, but in general polygraphy is pretty minimalistic. Traditionally, inside of the main box or of the outer box you will get the main box, but this time it's done in really unusual way. Everything is put in the case. So let's put it aside for a while. It's short manual, so basically sensitivity 102 decibels and 18 ohms of impedance. Pretty drastic difference from T800, they were much more sensitive. But these figures are pretty okay, so you won't need something super powerful, but at the same time they won't be as critical for the source as T800. So you will get cool plastic box, really solidly looking, so you can store here in-ear monitors or something else. So open it, and I'm trying to do everything carefully. So here they are. Properly secured, so they won't be damaged during the transportation. Earphones themselves, and as you can easily understand, here we'll have the accessories. Cleaning tool, set of foams, 3 pair of foam tips and silicone tips. Let's see what we've got here. Three pair of single flange silicones and pretty nice stock cable. So as you can see, accessory set and packaging is done really nicely. In terms of design, they are really nice, so nothing outstanding, but everything is built really well. Shells are 3D printed from the resin, and as you can probably see, they are almost clear, transparent, but with kind of fog effect inside, fog or fuzziness. So they've added something to the shell, so it looks a bit like frost covered. Pretty attractive design. Face plates are classical. It's carbon, some kind of silver carbon, looks really attractive. Small caption about the AQ3. and here Audiosense. So really attractive design. I think it's classical approach that is proven by years. You can see all the internals, so dynamic driver, 2 balanced armatures, 3 sound tubes going inside, so there are 3 separate channels for each frequency. So dynamic driver is responsible for the low frequencies, 1 balanced armatures for mids and lower treble, and 1 for the high treble. And of course socket and other wiring inside. They are really comfortable, no sharp edges, so everything is smooth and rounded, so they fit in nicely into the ears. And thanks to this pretty well extended spouts, they providing a bit above average wearing comfort. There is, by the way, a small vent hole for the dynamic driver. So there is a lip for holding the tips, everything is covered by the grill, but inside there are 3 separate bores. So let's put tip back. So build quality is really good as usual for the Audiosense. And stock cable, also pretty attractive. It reminds stock cables of some few models, probably this cable is made somewhere nearby. It's really good. Here used MM6 connectors, they have really well defined click. Cable is attractive. It has ear hooks format, no memory wire inside, but it's still holding the cable well. And cable itself is pretty soft, maybe not the softest one, but on the softer side. Microphonic effect is low, it looks attractive, it's carefully braided, 4 wires per each earpiece, 4 probably, most probably, yeah. Metal splitter with chin slider, but you won't need it because there is no microphonic effect. It's not getting hot when it's cold, and beneath it goes carefully braided to the small angle jack with strain relief, so they've tried to make it as small as possible, so I think this jack will satisfy both sides, those who like straight one and those who like angled ones. There is no consensus which jack shape is better. So in general, great build quality, really great. I can't add anything here. What is great? It's great. And of course, about the sound, I already put the player on the table. It's now more convenient with my new desktop stand. I still like it, and I like that it's adjustable, so I can adjust it even for the unusual connector placement. So anyway, today, for example, we will use FIO M11 Pro, as it's the most recent addition to my collection. And if you're going to buy these in-ear monitors, give them about 12 hours of burn-in plus minus, or don't bother about it, they will burn in your ears anyway. More important is to find the proper tips to achieve the best possible sound isolation. Stock silicone tips are soft, so if they won't fit well for you, for me the biggest tips providing decent isolation, but to achieve better isolation I'm using Symbio ear tips by Mandarin, so they providing a bit tighter fit, and if you won't get tight fit you can lose some bass. And it's important here because this model is tuned in a much more natural way comparing with T800, and you know, it's pretty surprising because usually for hybrids everyone expects natural and flat tuning, while Audiosense decided sorry, of course from hybrids everyone expects V-shaped tuning, not natural and flat, what I'm speaking about. So hybrids are usually tuned in more V-shaped style because dynamic drivers give you big bass and armatures give you mids and treble, and it's a always nice idea to make treble accent to compensate low frequencies, to balance them and to give more clarity. In this case Audiosense decided to make AQ3 not totally flat, but tuned in more natural style comparing with T800. So basically low frequencies here are linear, maybe not absolutely linear, slight accent is present in the mid-bass area, but it's noticeably low, so it's definitely not a bass head model. So bass here is tight, it's impactful, and it's really technical and detailed because it's really fast and resolving for the dynamic drivers. Probably titanium diaphragm coating doing its job, so it has good resolution, above average for the dynamic drivers. Maybe not as good as fastest balanced armatures, but for dynams it's good, with great texturing and good control, and sub bass is present, but as bass is not accented in general, well, slightly accented, but mainly almost not accented. So bass is not dominating, and deeper layers of bass doesn't push forward, but at the same time they're providing really solid foundation. They are tight, they have impact, so mainly they are tuned for the acoustic instruments, but with bass heavy electronic music it's also normal. But probably for many people, for electronic music will prefer something more bassy, and luckily Audiosense has T800 for that styles and genres. But anyway, I tried Prodigy, D Antwoord and other groups that I have in my playlist, and they played nicely. Really tight and impactful, just not as accented as anyone prefers. And the totally different situation, well, not totally different situation, and they start shining with acoustic instruments, especially with those that goes to the low domain, because they give you enough body. They will give you that solid feeling of double bass, of lowest notes of fortepiano, big drums, and so on and so forth. So it's probably audiophilic tuning for the hybrids. And as an example, I've got a bit unusual track. It's PJ Harvey, The Ministry of Defense. If you heard it, it starts with some major chords with drums, and they are pretty forward and attacking, if this term can be applied to the music. And this in-ear monitors provides enough of energy to represent this in intro attacks. They are also pretty coherent. Driver overlap is noticeable, but it's minimized, so bass transition to mids really smoothly, and it's not bleeding onto mids almost absolutely. I'm not sure is it because of quantity or because of crossover, but bass stays on its place, and mids stays crystal clear, really resolving and really natural. It's these in-ear monitors are a bit more focused on the micro contrast. They're trying to give you maximum clarity, maximum resolution, but at the same time they're not sounding too dry or too analytical, because they have maybe not perfect weight, but pretty normal. So it's surprisingly for the single balanced armature for the mid frequencies to have normal amount of weight. Maybe in some rare cases I'd prefer a bit more, but it's really rare cases, because generally I enjoy their clarity, their resolution, their natural tuning with forward vocal, with clean and crisp representing of every single note. So it's a pretty enjoyable audiophilic sense, discovering new details. Of course I won't discover anything because I'm listening for the high-end in-ear monitors for too long, but anyway, for many people who will buy this as their first or one of the first serious in-ear monitors, it will be really pleasant feeling. At the same time, they are a bit critical to the quality of records, because if something is recorded poorly, they will play it, but it's not their fault, of course. And another really strong part of their signature is the three-dimensional stage. I don't know how Audiosense achieves that, but stage is really big. Maybe not at the level of top of the line in-ear monitors, but definitely it's bigger than vast majority of in-ear monitors in this segment has. probably they can be compared with T800, but sometimes in depth they are showing even a bit better depth for me. But of course stage is subjective, so it depends on your brain and ears. And as an example, for the mid frequencies, I've got yet another classics, and that's People Are Strange by The Doors. And you know, this track has really good mastering because bass is goes at the left, percussion shifted towards right a little bit, and guitars are also separated in channels. And with this in ear monitors you will have the astonishing effect of space, astonishing effect of clarity, and everything is bright, and Morrison's vocal sounding really well, maybe not emotional, but enigmatic. Well, it's sounding like his vocal sounds all the time. So it's really great pairing of dub in ear monitors and track. And treble, another part that will be probably an improvement for many comparing with T800. Actually, T800 has a bit better resolution on the treble and a bit better extension, but at the same time, of course, they are more treble forward. So this one has good resolution, pretty realistic attacks and decays, but at the same time they have less treble. So if T800 was too much for you, this one can be an option. It's not totally soft and smooth, because you know treble here is present and they are not trying to hide the treble like some in-ear monitors does, but they're not as forward as T800. So at the same time, normal, well, actually even better than normal resolution, realistic attacks and decays, and good, not superb but good extension, and even basic layering is present here. So overtone saturation is pretty pleasant for this price tier. Don't expect some top of the line performance, of course, but still pretty impressive. And as an example, I've selected pretty complicated track. It's Kate Poon, album is called Audiophile Jazz Prologue, so you understand why, and April in Paris. I could select every single track, but this one is also great. Fortepiano, acoustic bass, all that classical instruments, but recorded really superbly. And of course they have a lot of overtones that goes high to the treble area, and this in-ear monitors not perfectly but on really good level deal with this track. So to summarize everything, pretty natural tuning with good detalization and tight, impactful low frequencies but without big accent. So it's slightly V-shaped probably, but accents are really not big. I haven't seen the frequency response, but that's what I hear. In terms of pairing, they of course require something probably like starting with few M11 and up to iBasso DX220, this segment, so basically middle mids or upper middle segment, or even lower part of top of the line segment, they can unveil their potential. Really technical and capable in-ear monitors for those who like such signature. They don't require something super powerful, but a bit more power than usual. Smartphones will be a plus for them, so no much sense in listening them with smartphones anyway, because of resolution first of all. In a few words about comparisons, just few models. If you will be interested in some additional comparisons, just feel free to ask. First of all, they remind me one of my favorite models of this price segment. It's Hi-Fi Boy OS V3, while this one is more resolving, bit less V-shaped comparing with Hi-Fi Boys, and tuned bit towards the analytical side, but at the same time preserving engagement. And another model that I really like, it's BQEYZ Spring 1, and it's different representation. First of all, the difference is on the treble, because Spring is more extended with a bit better weight on the treble because of their super tweeter they're using piezo driver. On the mids, this one is giving more spacious with a bit more resolution and clarity, and on the lows they are about on par in terms of resolution, but Spring has a bit more accent on the low frequencies, while this one is a bit more natural. There are a lot of other models in this price segment and in the other price segments, like for example Duno DK 2001. They are 2 times more expensive, but I just reviewed them recently, so I just recall them. They are more fun in terms of signature, they are more highlighting emotions, they are a bit less focused on the micro detalization and offering a bit smaller width of stage, but depth is about the same. So okay, I won't try to recall every single model, so if you will be interested in some additional comparisons, just feel free to ask, and I will summarize this review saying that Audiosense created yet another model with great price to quality ratio, especially if you'd like a bit more natural and audiophilic signature than their T800, so less low frequencies, less treble, less bass, but preserving pretty similar clarity and resolution and focus on the detalization. So AQ3, I foresee the great future for them. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.